Hello, everybody. Welcome to Earth, a Culture Fest live broadcast. And Hari and I are very happy to be here today in conversation with Amish Tripathi. And first and foremost, wish you all a very happy Earth Day today. You can see us all in our greens.
Green Earth.
Yes, and this is a wonderful opportunity that Earth has created. It is India's first multi-regional cultural festival, and it has been going on. There have been two editions so far, and it has been a wonderful cultural fest in Delhi during Jan Feb both these years.
And we'd like to appreciate the efforts that both Shreyasi Goenka and Vikram Sampath have taken in making this Zee Art Culture Fest a happening event in our annual calendar.
And it's very nice that they have thought of getting these sessions also going. And we're very happy that we are going to be in conversation with Amish Tripathi. And he's joining us from London.
Hi, Amish.
Hi, Amish, from Ground Zero. I mean, you want to say how it is like out there?
No, Europe truly is, it's the Europe and the US have in effect actually become the epicenter of the disease, of the Wuhan coronavirus disease, or COVID, which is the disease caused by the Wuhan coronavirus. In fact, in the UK, we have close to 1,000 people dying every day. So these are very worrying numbers. And in fact, a newspaper report just came out saying that perhaps even this death toll is an underestimate, because this only accounts for those dying in hospitals. Apparently, it does not account for those dying in care homes, etc. So yeah, it's a difficult situation here. But I'm sure we will get out of this. Yeah. Humanity has suffered a lot worse.
Yeah.
But India is in a good place, fortunately, at least relatively. We don't have that many deaths. We don't have that many infections. Perhaps, one can debate on the reasons for it. It could be that, our leadership took the right call and we did the lockdown early. It could be that the heat in India is helping. It could be the BCG vaccination. There's that theory as well.
Reasons.
So many reasons.
Vaccination is helping it. It could also be the Indian immunity, man. The fact that we eat pani puri on the street strengthens.
I know.
Coronavirus हमारा क्या बिगाड़ेगा साले?
In fact, actually, this lockdown has prompted us to sit and think, and we're coming out with a book. Hopefully, by the end the lockdown or end of the lockdown, we should be able to have the book. It's called "Staying Alive." After the Bee Gees song.
Oh, very nice.
What has been the secret of the Indian civilization, that we have stayed alive for so many 8,000 years and more, that we are alive today, and so we must have done something good.
No, very true.
So,
And in fact,
what was our approach? Yeah.
One of the things that's remarkable about us, and we need to study that a lot more. And of course, when you're talking about staying alive, you'd speak of our cultural roots, but I would, speak of it specifically also just on our health. India has always had, across most of human history, the Indian subcontinent has always been among the most densely populated. And it's not that we are the only ones blessed by Mother Nature. I mean, China, that's the core Chinese territory, the Han Chinese territory, is also very lush, fertile. Many parts of Europe are very lush and fertile. America,
and each land has got its own.
So why is it that the Indian subcontinent was always among the highest populated? I think a part of it is also that our basic habits and things which come down from our ancestors, relatively healthy habits, have actually helped keep many or more of us alive. Simple things like having haldi in our dal, the fact that it's an Indian habit that when we come into the house, we leave the shoes outside. it's all traditional households. Moment we come into the house, we'll wash our hands and our feet and our face. The fact that we wash rather than wipe. I will not get into too much details.
जूता नहीं खाते हैं.
These things are all good.
No, किसी का जूता नहीं खाते हैं. That is
Ayurveda itself, which has a medical system. Ayurveda is not like homeopathy. There's actually science, in Ayurveda. And Ayurveda, unlike the allopathic Western medicine, does not have that many side effects. So it actually strengthens your body rather than working like allopathy, which often the side effects are often worse than the disease itself. So actually we should revive many of those practices. They're good for us.
That's
and I'm just remembering, I got a message. Sorry, Hari.
Yes.
That we were told कि ज़्यादातर हिंदी में बातचीत.
अवश्य हिंदी में ज़्यादा हम बात करेंगे.
तो चलिए अभी अंग्रेजी से हिंदी में ये तब्दीली हो जाए.
तो ये हुआ समय, to think of Bhagwan, to pray to God, and we are going to be demystifying our gods.
Being Earth Day, probably we can start with Earth itself, which we look at as Bhuma Devi. Beautiful concept that we give. And if you look at it in our solar system, in Indian astronomy, what we call as Jyotish पे जो बोलते हैं ना, सोलर सिस्टम को हम तो सूर्य मालिका बोलते हैं, क्योंकि सूर्य के माला जैसा ये सब ग्रह ने, planets है.
Correct.
When we look at it, we see only Earth is feminine in the Indian thought. Yes. All other planets are masculine.
Correct.
Whereas of course in Western thought, Venus is feminine. That's okay. But in Indian thought, if you look at it,
moon, in
is
Western thought it is feminine.
But Indian thought is masculine.
A lot of people write to us, but we say Chandra is a man, and how he, the story of him spending with all the 27 nakshatra. Whereas they say, no, for us moon is female and sun is male.
Point is, in your Earth you can have life. So the giver of life is feminine, whereas every other planet or astral body on solar system is masculine, because they cannot progenate life by themselves.
Correct.
So how beautifully we had interlinked our divinities and practicalities beautifully.
एकदम सही कहा आपने. ये हमारे जो भारतीय संस्कृति है, इसकी जो खास बात जो है बहुत हद तक, कि जो माँ प्रकृति है उससे हमारा जो जीने का जो तरीका है, जो ढाल डोल है, वो माँ प्रकृति के से संतुलन में रहता है. माँ प्रकृति के नियमों के अनुकूल चलता है. तो रीति जो है, and the root of it is the cycles, the order of life.
And that is why actually if you see, because हमने प्रकृति से बहुत खेला नहीं, मतलब उसको डिस्टर्ब नहीं किया, काफी कुछ इतने सालों से हम स्टेडी हम जी पा रहे थे. Exactly. और जब आप इसको डिस्टर्ब करोगे तभी तो ये प्रॉब्लम सब उठ के आएगा, उबल के आएगा. And that is when...
क्योंकि देखिए, अगर मतलब माँ प्रकृति को अगर हम ज्यादा असंतुलन ला रहे हैं, इम्बैलेंस ला रहे हैं, और इम्बैलेंस एक तरफ से अधर्म है, तो माँ प्रकृति को संतुलन तो लाना ही है. करेक्ट. तो अगर हम इतनी अति कर दें कि एनवायरमेंटल हम लोग इतना डैमेज कर रहे हैं, हमारी जो नदियां हैं, दूसरे जो पशु पौधे हैं जो who share mother earth with us, अगर हम उनको हानि पहुंचा रहे हैं, तो भाई माँ प्रकृति को किसी भी तरह से तो संतुलन तो लाना ही. तो एक तरह से हम शायद ये भी कह सकते हैं कि भाई ये जो वुहान कोरोना वायरस है, ये माँ प्रकृति का एक उनका एक शस्त्र है, थोड़ा संतुलन वापस लाने का. और शायद ये हमारे लिए अच्छा होगा अगर हम इससे सबक सीख लें.
ये तो है ना, ये कहानी रक्त बीज वाली कहानी जैसे हो गई, जहाँ पर आप अपने प्रकृति देवी को इतना उनको भड़का दिया ना, वो हमारे ऊपर रक्त बीज वायरस के रूप में चढ़ा रही है हमारे ऊपर.
लेकिन जितना जल्दी हम लोग सीख लें हमारे लिए बेहतर है. मैं एक पश्चिमी देश में हूँ, लंदन में हूँ, यहाँ पे भी एनवायरमेंटल मूवमेंट काफ़ी स्ट्रांग है। लेकिन आप देखेंगे कई बार हर इंसान ऐसे बात नहीं करता है, लेकिन कई बार लोग ऐसे बात करते हैं एनवायरमेंटल मूवमेंट्स में कि उन्हें माँ प्रकृति को बचाना है। मैं हरदम ये सोचता हूँ, भाई तुम कौन होते हो माँ प्रकृति को बचाने के लिए? माँ प्रकृति वो अपने आप को बचा लेंगी, घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है, हमें अपने आप को बचाना है। तो अगर हमें वापस संतुलन लाना है मदर अर्थ में, तो ये हमारे लिए ही बेहतर होगा। इसी को मतलब मेरी जो शिवा ट्रिलॉजी है उसमें मैंने यही यही बात प्रस्तुत करने की कोशिश की थी कि evil is often just when you do excess out of good. There's something good which is giving you a blessing, but you want to draw so much out of it that ultimately it turns evil. And that is the way Mother Earth actually brings balance.
Absolutely, Amish.
That's something that we human beings have to learn. And शायद ये हमारे सबक हो सकता है.
Use the word excess very well in that. Yes, I think you use the word very well, excess, because we have also similarly echoed very similar thoughts in our book, Future from India, where we said actually man is a virus. And how do we say that? Because if you look at a virus, its important quality is it propagates very quickly, it attaches to something, propagates quickly, and so intensive in that environment, it destroys the environment it is in.
Correct.
And if you look at an elephant in context, virus is the smallest of the creatures. An elephant on land is the largest of the creatures. They live in large herds also in forest. We have never heard an elephant destroy a forest. They're voracious eaters, but they never destroy a forest because they're extensive eaters, not intensive eaters. So they go around an elephant corridor, eating, and then going around and then come back here much later. In contrast, so even though they are the largest creatures and voracious creatures, they don't destroy their habitat. Whereas man, in turn, has become, he propagates very fast, has become very intensive, and is destroying his own environment. The only other creature that does this is a virus. So and given this situation, when man has become a virus, I think nature, Prakriti, is hitting back with its virus on man. It happens sometime or other.
जैसे कहते हैं लोहा लोहे को काटता है. हाँ जी.
And actually, since you're from Varanasi, I remember this famous saying of Kabir, okay, of Mati, that famous song of his, where he speaks about who are you spinning my wheel, about the Kumhar. Mati I'm sure you must be aware of that song, very famous song of Sant Kabir. So he says, who are you to spin me? I'll someday hit back at you. So that's what is happening in a way. So it is, we are in trying times, but the Indian civilization has given so much through especially Ayurveda. As you said, you spoke about the haldi, doodh every day and all that. See, we have a wonderful concept called dinachar, the daily practice. We also have a concept called desachar, the local regional practice. And so is the kalachar of the land. And the dinachar and the desachar varied from place to place. You can't expect a Madrasi dinachar, desachar to be practiced in, say, Varanasi.
Of course not.
Dinachar and desachar are different.
Environment is different.
The topography, the land.
Like Tamil Nadu is warm most of the time, whereas in Kashi in the winter time, it gets, many South Indians don't realize just how cold the North Indian winter gets. So in the winter time it's very cold.
I know.
So obviously the daily attributes, the practices that we have, fark to hoga.
And over time, even the genes would have got adapted. The people there, how they adapt and they can acclimatize versus how people acclimatize in different regions will vary. So what holds good for one actually need not necessarily always hold good for the other.
Actually, we have 3 climates in Chennai. Hot, hotter, hottest.
Which is why अगर जो हमारा जो जीन कोड है, एक एक ऋतु में उसको मतलब आदी हो गया है, उसकी आदत बन गई है, और उसे आप किसी अलग ऋतु में डाल दें, जैसे मैं भारतीय हूँ और आप मुझे लंदन में डाल दें, यहाँ पे विंटर टाइम में तो यार सूरज उगता है करीब 9 साढ़े 9 बजे, और 3:30 4 बजे फिर से पूरा मतलब सूरज डूब जाता है, पूरा अंधेरा हो जाता है, और मैं कंफ्यूज हो जाता हूँ ये हो क्या रहा है, सन किधर है, तो because in India we are used to seeing the sun, and one of the things we don't realize is how much the sun orders our life. In some ways what comes down from our traditions, where we see the sun god as the giver of order. But that is a beautiful storytelling way to convey what is the actual fact, because for us Indians the sun defines the order of our life. In the winter time, the time that the sun will rise, the time that it will set is different from how it is in summer time, so our habits change. Uttarayan, Dakshinayan define so many ritus. So actually sun से हमारी जो जीने की जो प्रणाली है, जो सिस्टम है, उसमें पूरा वो आधार सन का ही, सूरज देव का ही होता है.
That's why we start the day with Surya Namaskar, and then from there we take everything along with the sun.
So there is actually a practical truth to it. The sun is ordering our lives. But
and इसलिए you have the Navratra also.
उसे एक बड़ी सुंदर कहानी में बता देते थे कि भाई सूर्य देव.
और कहानी नहीं बल्कि फेस्टिवल्स भी, उत्सव भी, नवरात्र जो होता है एक्चुअली 4 बार होता है एक साल में. एवरी सीजन जब सूरज का ये चेंज हो रहा है, तभी यू हैव योर नवरात्र टू अलाइन योरसेल्फ, और उसकी कहानियां एंड 3 days टू बिल्ड अप डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ योर. तो भगवान हमारे लिए दे आर विदिन अस. आई नो दे आर विदिन अस, दे आर इन द नेचर अराउंड, and there are also people in the stories. So beautiful.
लेकिन ये सब वही हमारे पूर्वज हमें कहते हैं कि ये सब कहानियों के द्वारा हमें बता क्या रहे हैं कि हमारा जो जीवन है वो जो प्रकृति, जो पूरे ब्रह्मांड का जो ऋतु है, उसके अनुकूल चलना चाहिए.
Absolutely.
Be in tune with the patterns and movements of the universe. Once we are that way, we ourselves will become healthy.
Very well said. Actually, if you look at
that is
very
the
well said.
in the Indian way. That is what dharma is. That
very well said, Anish. Very well said. Because if you see, I'm sure you would have read Taittiriya Upanishad, where it says, Ritam vadishyami, Satyam vadishyami, Tanmam avatu, Tadvaktaram avatu, avatumam. So the word rhythm is there itself. Ritam vadishyami. Let us speak the truth as well as be in sync with the rhythm of Prakriti.
Correct.
It's beautiful. And all the divinities of the pantheon of Indian divinities, we call them Hindu divinities, are all in rhythm with this nature.
Correct.
Absolutely. And you have sort of woven them in so beautifully in your books.
आप देखेंगे मैं कॉपर से पानी पीता हूँ.
Yes. I saw that. I did observe that.
इंडिया से लेके आया कॉपर का बोतल है, कॉपर का.
I did observe that.
For those who don't know, who are watching, one of the the lessons that has come down from our ancestors is that we should store water in copper and drink with copper, because this is very good. We are told this is very good for water. New research is showing that copper actually leaches virus and bacteria away, so your water becomes healthier.
Very true.
Same with eating on silver plates also. Today we
Exactly.
are finding a lot of nano use for silver. Things in silver just for the same reason. And actually you touched on a very nice...
there was a very interesting research report I read on silver. The thing with silver is a bacteria which absorbs silver. It dies, but the silver remains in that bacteria, and any other bacteria which comes on that silver killed bacteria, that bacteria also dies because it absorbs silver from that bacteria. So in effect, we turn, if silver goes into a bacteria, it becomes like a zombie bacteria for other bacteria. So it continues to help us. The only problem is you have to have the money to get a silver plate. And a proper silver plate, not a fraud silver plate.
No, genuine, we do that. Okay. And getting on to stuff, there is a request, Amish, that you should read from a short paragraph from one of your books, and as well speak about the system of worship.
Let me just. I'm sorry, I didn't think of anything. बातचीत करते रहते. Let me try and find something.
Anything, whichever page you open, is a right.
Okay. Just one sec. There is one thing which had come to mind. So let me read that for you. You know, this incident was based on an incident that had happened with my niece. Okay, that's my twin brother's daughter. Okay, and she was my twin brother. He's 12 years elder. 12 minutes elder to me, and his daughter is she's a very tough girl. Okay, so there was this one time when some boy was trying to bully her. This was in school in India, and then my niece obviously ended up thrashing that boy completely, and obviously my brother was called and he was told that, listen, your daughter cannot beat people up like this. So she was given strict instructions that you are not supposed to beat anyone. Okay, and so that boy had tried to trouble her once again, and she did something, and I was so inspired by that I actually used that in an incident that Sita Ma does in a school. Okay, so there is this boy who's troubling Sita Ma. Okay, the backdrop is there's this boy called Kamal Raj who's troubling Sita Ma. Okay, asking her that, listen, I heard you were adopted, and so if your if your mother gets a real daughter, then they may abandon you. So what will happen to you? So so he's troubling her like this, and a friend of Sita called Radhika is telling her that let it be Sita, he's a fool. And so that boy just asked Sita that, are you your mother's real daughter? So Sita just said, I am my mother's daughter, muttered Sita, looking defiantly at her tormentor as she pointedly ignored her friend's advice. Her friend was telling her, just ignore that troublesome boy, Kamal Raj. So Kamal Raj says, yes, I know that. We are all our mother's children. But aren't you adopted? What will happen to you when your mother has a real daughter? Real daughter? Asked Sita. I'm not unreal, Kamal. I'm very real. Yes, but you're not. Just get lost, said Sita. She picked up a twig with which she had been explaining the Bodhayana theorem to her friend. No, continued Kamal. You aren't understanding what I'm saying. If you are adopted, you can be thrown out at any time. What will you do then? Sita put the twig down and looked at Kamal with cold eyes. This would have been a good moment for the boy to shut up. Regrettably, the boy did not have too much sense. I can see that the teachers like you, continued Kamal Raj. Guruji likes you a lot. You can come back here and teach all day when you get thrown out of your home. Kamal broke into a maniacal laughter. No one else laughed. In fact, the tension in the air was crackling dangerously. Sita pleaded Radhika, again advising calm. Let it be. Sita ignored Radhika's advice yet again. She slowly got up and walked towards Kamal. The boy swallowed hard, but he did not step back. Remember, they are children at this time. Huh? Sita is 9 years old.
Yes.
Okay. Sita's hands were locked tightly behind her back. She stopped within an inch of her adversary. He looked at him and glared straight into his eyes. Kamal's breath had quickened nervously, and the twitch in his temple showed that his courage was rapidly disappearing. But he stood his ground. Sita took one more threatening step forward, dangerously close to Kamal. Her toe was now touching the boy's. The tip of her nose was no less than a centimeter from his face. Her eyes flashed fire, unblinking. Sweat beads had formed on Kamal's forehead, the boy's forehead. Listen, you're not allowed to hit anyone. The teachers had told you that. Sita kept her eyes locked with Kamal's. She kept staring, unblinking, cold, breathing heavily. Kamal's voice emerged in a squeak. Listen, you're not supposed to hit anyone. Sita suddenly screamed loudly, an ear-splitting sound right in Kamal's face. A forceful, strong, high-pitched bellow. A startled Kamal fell back, flat on the ground, and burst into tears. And other children burst into laughter. A teacher appeared seemingly from nowhere. Sita just said, I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him. Sita allowed herself to be led away by the teacher. But I didn't hit him.
Lovely, very nice. Very nice. Very well, very nice.
That's wonderful.
So my niece had actually done this to a boy. Okay, because she was told.
It was a real incident.
So I said, I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him. If he starts crying, what can I do?
Wonderful. I'm glad to know that you're a twin. Because in our house, my nephews are twins.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, my nephews are twins. They are about 9 now. And as you say, they are all over the place. And
they are tough cookies, yes.
They're tough cookies and they just bully us. Okay, apart from that. And instantly, all our books, Autobiography of India, we have sort of dedicated to the youth of the land through them, through these twins.
Because we call them Aditya and Varun.
Arey wow, wonderful.
So rain and shine.
Rain and shine.
Together a rainbow.
Rain. So this land is all, see that as when we started the discussion, we spoke about how this land has been endowed, right, among all the other civilizations for this land to stay alive. And if you look at it, this is one land among the various lands of the world that has had continuous and a good share of both rain and shine through the year in a very predictable cycle. Okay? Because we know that we start getting our rains from June 1st. So if you're Mumbai, you can set your calendar June 15th, June 16th, your rains start. And by say Ganesh Visarjan, your rain stops. So there's obviously a calendar in the sky.
Right.
And you know when your maximum heat is. So this land has been so well tuned.
True. But the wisdom of our ancestors, they didn't fight this. They harnessed it.
They harnessed it beautifully.
Unlike the present modern civilization, which is always about fighting nature, controlling nature, the wisdom of our ancestors was they harnessed the cycle of nature and be in tune with it.
In sync with nature, absolutely.
The monsoon winds, the winds change direction. The Indian Ocean is the only ocean where the winds change direction like clockwork. And our ancestors used it for ship trade. Now that is thinking, right?
That is why you had Bali Jatra in November.
Because the winds change direction, sail out with the northeast monsoon and come back with the
absolutely
monsoon. So the core philosophy at the heart of it was be in tune with nature.
Sync with nature.
One thing modern Indians have forgotten, because we have got so westernized, we want to control nature, go against nature. Like my favorite example, you see our architecture, our buildings. Our buildings are so out of tune with nature. Glass wall buildings, which makes no sense in a hot country with loads of sun. In every way, our food habits, everything, it's not in tune with the normal cycle.
Actually, we say one very true
problem which manifests everywhere.
Yeah. See, actually, we say one thing in one of our books called U-Turn India as to how, if you look at India, it's got a very unique aspect. That is, even though it rains for 3 months in a year in India, it actually rains for only about 100 hours in a year. And we have 8,760 hours in a year. So the balance 8,660 hours, we must use this 100 hours of rain. So we had harnessed it beautifully, this land, while we had only 6 lakh villages. That's why you got 6 lakh pin code. Whereas we had about 9,50,000 water harnessing systems on the land.
Correct.
So they realized water harnessing system was more important than even habitation. That's why you had 6 lakh habitation and say 9 lakh water harnessing systems. So we had, for every 2 villages, you had three water harnessing systems. And this is how they sort of, for every, so we had 6 lakh villages, whereas we had 9,50,000 water harnessing systems built over 7,000, 8,000 years.
Very true. And the way the system was designed, like in the Western Ghats, for example, I don't know how many are aware. Since I live in Maharashtra, I was aware of it. In ancient times, the Western Ghats, you know, in all the minor streams, they would actually have water harvesting,
Yes.
where they would store water, so it would kind of, build up the water,
Yes.
the water level in that place, and then when it overflowed, it would go in and then go into the next stream.
Yes.
It was like a cascading normally,
Yes.
which would then feed the main river, and the main river would always be perennial. Now, if you think about this, what were our ancestors doing? Managing the water, but not messing up the natural flow of the river.
Absolutely.
What we do now is we want to build these giant dams, which
Put
are
it in total disarray.
picking things up, which have which clog up, because obviously the sediment that comes clogs up the dam, then which has to be cleaned, and which disturbs the natural flow of the river. So our present ways are so out of tune with nature. So we spend far more money, but we still have water shortage.
You
Whereas
said a very nice point. I'll tell you what. So you call it Western Ghats. Actually, if you look at the Indian name for the local Marathi or the Hindi name for it, it's called Sahyadri. Sahaya Adri. The Adri meaning hills. That which is the Sahaya for the land. That's why it's called Sahayadri, Sahyadri. Because they looked at it as a helpful mountain. Because it spread,
Because it ensures
it sort of lifted up the rain clouds to drop onto the land. Otherwise, it was just passed off.
Correct.
It was heavy rain, which is what they did. And then they collected all over the landscape. It's a beautiful system we had. And similarly, in Tamil Nadu also, we had something called AD system, where you have a network. That's what we did. So all over India, right? So from Ladakh, where you had the Zing, which was the water harnessing system, to Kanyakumari, where you had the Anaikat. So it was we had 9,50,000 water bodies in India. And actually, we have written about a book. It's called Z. Instead of saying A to Z of water harnessing, we say Z to A of water harnessing. It was starting with the Zing in Ladakh to Anaikat in Kanyakumari. The Z to A of water harnessing.
So actually, we see, these were all our gods.
These are divinities.
These were our divinities.
Jala,
the rain, the
Apaha,
sun, and
Surya.
so even though we knew that there is just one ultimate truth, one Brahman, but it took all these forms, because these are things that give you life, that help you sustain your life, and so on. So we gave different words, because actually I think we have about 10 minutes or so left, and there are a few questions, and some.
I know that.
And some people, I think, they've been asking why so many gods.
That which sustains life, that which gives life, is divine.
Absolutely.
Which is why our parents are divine. Which is why our guru is divine, because that which gives life is divine.
And we gave forms to each of these aspects, which became our idols.
Very true.
Because the word divine comes from the root word div, as you know well. The word div itself means to glow. So anything that glows is divine.
Correct.
Earth also glows, the sun glows, you glow, every human being glows, every animal glows, every tree glows. So anything that's glowing is divine.
Correct.
So obviously they all are, and the English word divinity also probably has its roots from there, and then the Greek word divya. So we call it as divya tambali, divya, this concept. It's across the land, beautifully.
And actually there are
a few questions that have come up, which we can discuss them.
There are some questions about why certain temples are made to be places of worship of only a particular god, and also connected with idol worship aspect. Whole idol worship aspect of looking up to a deity. What is the belief system in this? So a lot of questions connected with these aspects, and why so many gods, even though we all knew that there is one Brahman. And so that's what is actually going around in the minds of India today. And would you like to say something about this?
I find so many people, even in India today, I can understand if it is there outside, but even in India today, and Hindus also, because I have many events, and many of them have youngsters, and I find even some Hindus will come and tell me that, listen, I'm a very proud Hindu, but I'm not an idol worshipper. Like, idol worshipping is wrong. I mean, I always ask, like, who told you it's wrong? No, God said. So what? God came and told you that it's wrong. And you will notice that over the last 1500 to 2000 years, a few communities across the world which reject idol worship have gone around the world massacring tens of millions of people and destroying temples across the world, not just in India, across the world.
I think there's a request to speak in Hindi, if you don't mind.
Sorry?
There's a request to speak in Hindi.
अच्छा, तो ठीक है.
बनारसी बाबू can speak in Hindi.
कि पिछले 1500-2000 साल में पूरे दुनिया भर में कई संप्रदाय ऐसे रहे जो मूर्ति पूजा के विरोधी थे, और वो पूरे दुनिया भर में फिरते रहे, लाखों करोड़ों लोगों को मार दिया, सिर्फ इंडिया में नहीं, पूरे दुनिया भर में. क्यों? क्योंकि वो कहते थे कि भाई मूर्ति पूजा तो जुल्म है, नहीं, मूर्ति पूजा एक पाप है. लेकिन आप देखेंगे कि आपको कभी बहुत कम ऐसे केस स्टडीज होंगे जहां पे मूर्ति पूजक, सिर्फ इंडिया में नहीं, पूरे दुनिया भर में, जहां पे मूर्ति पूजक दुनिया भर में घूमते रहे उनको मारने के लिए जो मूर्ति पूजा नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो जो मूर्ति विरोधी हैं मूर्ति पूजक को मारते रहते थे, लेकिन मूर्ति पूजक ऐसा कभी नहीं करते थे. क्यों? और इसके बारे में थोड़ा सोच विचार करने की जरूरत है. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि जो मूर्ति पूजा के विरोधी हैं वो उनका पूरा वे ऑफ लाइफ गलत है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा. उनमें भी कोई खूबियां हैं और कुछ खामियां भी हैं. लेकिन जो मूर्ति पूजक जो लोग हैं उनमें सबसे एक खूबी ये है कि वो नेचुरली लिबरल होते हैं. क्यों? इसके बारे में भी हम लोग इतना सोच विचार नहीं करते हैं इसके बारे में. मूर्ति पूजा की जो प्रथा है वो आती कहाँ से? कोई ये नहीं कह रहा कि ब्राह्मण नहीं है, ऑफ कोर्स ब्राह्मण है, लेकिन मूर्ति पूजा की प्रथा आती कहाँ से है? और ये सिर्फ भारत में नहीं, मतलब प्राचीन जमाने में तो पूरे दुनिया भर में मूर्ति पूजा की थे, सिर्फ भारत में नहीं. प्रथा आती यहाँ से है कि जो मूर्ति पूजक हैं वो हर चीज में डिविनिटी उन्हें दिखता है, हर चीज में.
Animate and inanimate.
हाँ,
both animate and inanimate.
Exactly. हर चीज में उन्हें डिविनिटी दिखता है, हर चीज में उन्हें भगवान दिखता है. उन्हें धरती माँ में भगवान दिखते हैं, उन्हें नदियों में भगवान दिखते हैं, उन्हें हिमालय में भगवान दिखते हैं, आप और मुझ में, हम में भी भगवान दिखते हैं. नमस्ते का मतलब क्या है? About to the divine within you.
That is why during the if I may interrupt you, I think that's why during the Navaratri time we have something called as Ayudha Puja. We do puja for all the Ayudha.
Correct.
And this is actually a very famous painting of 1850s.
Exactly.
In Varanasi, Kanpur.
तो ये अगर ये प्रथा है तो भाई मूर्ति के ऊपर देवत्व कहाँ से आता है? डिविनिटी कहाँ से आती है? एक प्राण प्रतिष्ठा पूजा होती है और उसमें भगवान समा जाते हैं. और भाई सत्य क्या है असत्य क्या है हमें तो मरने के बाद ही पता चलेगा, ठीक है. लेकिन मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ आप सब ये सोचिए कि अगर किसी इंसान को, किसी संप्रदाय को हर चीज में भगवान दिख रही है तो नेचुरली लिबरल नहीं होगा क्या? और इसीलिए मूर्ति पूजक नॉर्मली, सिर्फ इंडिया में नहीं, पूरे दुनिया भर में मूर्ति पूजक नॉर्मली लिबरल होते थे। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि उनमें खामियां नहीं है, हाँ खामियां मूर्ति पूजकों में भी थी, लेकिन ये नेचुरल लिबरलिज्म आ जाता है क्योंकि मुझे तो हर चीज में भगवान दिखते हैं।
Absolutely.
तो मैं अगर आपसे इज्जत से पेश आ रहा हूँ, क्यों? क्योंकि मैं मानता हूँ कि आपके अंदर भी भगवान है। किसी से भी अगर इज्जत से पेश आ रहा हूँ तो इसमें खराबी क्या है भाई? What is wrong with it?
And actually, if you see, we have a very nice word मूर्ति के लिए. We have written about it. ये इसको हम विग्रह कहते हैं. विग्रह मतलब
हाँ,
ग्रह मतलब जो ग्रहण करता है. और क्या ग्रहण करता है? जब आप मंदिरों में जाते हो और मूर्ति के सामने खड़े हो तो आप क्या करते हो? इंग्लिश में हम इसे प्रेयर कहते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप पुजारी जी को आप जो वो कह रहे हैं सुनेंगे तो एक्चुअली वो स्तुति कर रहे हैं. वो मूर्ति की स्तुति, कितने सारे स्तुति श्लोक है, वो सब स्तुति है. आप इतने सुंदर हो, आपके कान में ये कुंडल है, ऐसे है वैसे है, आपका ये पावर है, आपका दयालु है, ऐसे. ये स्तुति से क्या होता है? ये विग्रह जो है ये सब पॉजिटिविटी को ग्रहण कर लेता है, वो अपने और खींच लेता है. और जब जो कोई जिनका मन एकदम दुखी हो और जिनको कुछ एनर्जी चाहिए,
पॉजिटिविटी मिलती है,
वो पॉजिटिविटी उनको देता है. तो इसीलिए हम मंदिर, हम प्रेयर के लिए हमें वी डोंट हैव एन इक्वल शब्द जो मांगते हैं, ऐसे कोई शब्द इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. हम पूजा करते हैं, हम स्तुति करते हैं, श्लोक पढ़ते हैं और चढ़ावा देते हैं, अर्पण करते हैं, अर्चना करते हैं. हम मांगते नहीं है. वो दैट इज अ वेरी डिफरेंट. मांगना है तो आप तपस करके फिर मांगते हो, ब्रह्मा जी से वर मांगते हो, वो अलग है. So we had a very good distinction, and these vigraha were meant to keep positivity in the society going. And they were, unka form, unki jo metals hain, they were designed in that form कि जो कोई दैविक तत्व जिसका वो रूप है, तो that they could radiate. और उनकी स्तुति भी वही तत्व के बारे में it would be, so it would praise that तत्व, and that is what you will get. तो अगर आपको बच्चा चाहिए तो आप एक पर्टिकुलर मंदिर में जाएंगे जहां पर उस मूर्ति की स्तुति उसके हिसाब से की गई है. तो जो जो चीज चाहिए तो वहां वैसे मूर्तियां बनाई गई हैं, जिनका रूप वैसा है, जिनके मटेरियल्स वैसे हैं, जिनकी स्तुति श्लोक वैसे हैं. And so that is the benefit that Murti gives to you, which is why people went. This was a very nice integrated system. Correct. It's a beautiful system, actually.
Beautiful system. I'm really loving this conversation, but I'm so sorry. Because there's another call that I have to get into. So क्षमा कीजिए if we can. But
we'll have to ask her.
This was great fun.
Yes, I know.
Probably some other time.
Yes, we'll have to ask them to organize another one, part 2.
We can go on discussing.
So take care, be safe, and see you in India soon.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye. Namaste. See you.